I don't know who picked this setting or this particular day, but I tell you, there is no place I'd rather be than right here, right now. This is going to take a while because we're going to talk really slowly. I was born in 1951. No, we're not going to go back that far. But Senator Egan, glad to see you. Representative Munoz, great to see you. Representative Quito, thank you very much. Representative Ortiz, thank you very much for being here. I know you had a late night last night. We all did, but I'm glad where we are right now. But today is a special day because the signing of this MOU is something that's very, very, very important. You know, the ferry system is 58 years old, which doesn't actually seem that old in some respects, but it's something that we need to have. In our fiscal situation we're in, we need to make sure we have a plan for the future. And my favorite kind of plans are ones that are done by Alaskans, ones that are done by people that utilize the system. I think sometimes in the past we bring in experts from afar, and they tell us what they think, and then they go back to afar, and we have to try to figure out what it is they're talking about. And so I like that our whole fiscal plan was designed by Alaskans. Several of them were Alaskan born. Some young guys in their 20s that just sort of figured it out. And so I have a big belief in Alaskans figuring out Alaskan problem, and that's what we have here today as far as this MOU, what it's going to do, what it's going to consist of. You know, we have no preconceived ideas about what it should be, how things should be changed on the Alaska Marine Highway System. You know, with my 30 years in Valdez, obviously I the Chilkat, the Bartlett, nothing like what we have now. But those are big parts of our economy and our getting around our part. Even though we did have a road, that road issue, but so I have a connection with the Alaska Marine Highway System, and I'm a fierce defender of it. And I always say that the most important part of that language, the word is the highway system. It is the Alaska Marine Highway System, no different than any other highway system that we have. And so when someone said they wanted the special session on the highway system, well, as far as I'm concerned, we're on the highway system. We're in special session, so I've complied with that requirement. I've proven that. So I don't know if it said road highway. It said, well, we have a road here, and then we have the Alaska Marine Highway System. So I think I've complied with that. So nobody has complained. Well, actually, some have complained, but we won't get into that. But it's the group coming together to this sort of came out of some discussions we had about what are we going to do about the Alaska Marine Highway System to make it sustainable. To make it something that every year, what I don't like is every year you sort of wonder what's the budget going to be like, how much money is going to be there. You don't do that on the Seward Highway, the Richardson Highway. It's always going to be there. You know, and so we want to make sure that we can look out, and that's why we want to have sort of the stable level of funding that we're talking about that we have available to us if we'll just sort of replumb our revenues a bit, so we can look out and say we know what the budget will be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. What's our vision for this, rather than every year, are we going to have to cut back? Are there pink slips? Those kinds of things. So we're going to change that. This isn't what we're announcing today is not a study. One of the commitments I made is when I became governor, I wanted to dismiss study hall. And in many ways, I have dismissed study hall. I want to see us doing things rather than studying things. And this is not a study hall. This is a group of Alaskans coming up with a plan. I'm all about a plan. My building background, I've never dug a hole. Although I did dig a hole the other day with Senator Egan, that was for something else. That was for a tree that we did. But without a plan of what I'm going to build, and that's what we need to have, a plan of our goal. And I like the makeup of this of the group that you're going to hear from. One of the many blessings I have as governor is probably the most significant is every day I get to go to work with this young man here, Byron Malott. And I tell you what, that's an incredible. I know that there's no other governor that's been as fortunate as I have. The relationship that we have is just, I think it's unprecedented, and I think we have set the bar to a new level of the relationship between the governor and the lieutenant governor, because my job, there's no real bad days. There's no real easy days necessarily, although unless we're out fishing on his boat. But but to be able to do it as a team. And that's what I'm asking the Alaska Legislature to do as well, as a team. And so with that, I want to turn over to for a few words from our Lieutenant Governor Byron Malott.
As a very young man, I had the incredible opportunity to go to work for Bill Egan only 6 years after statehood. And at that time, the visible symbol of Alaska's future was the Ferry Malaspina. It was brand new. It had the Alaska flag on its stack. It was pointed to Alaska's future. I had been a young man in college and I would get homesick. And I don't think the Malaspina was on a regular run to Seattle at the time, but it would come down for maintenance or for other reasons. And when I learned that it was going to be in Seattle, I drive down from Bellingham, where I was in school, just to see the Malaspina, because it was a symbol of home. It was also a symbol of Alaska's future. The Marine Highway, in many ways, while other states do have ferry systems, ours is very unique. We have the longest coastline in the United States. Our Marine Highway system serves so many coastal communities that aren't tied to Alaska's transportation system in any other way. It is the driver for the economies, for the lifestyles, for the societies, and so much of what makes Alaska wonderful. And as we grow into the future, the Marine Highway system will be the driver of the economies of so many of our communities and regions. And to see folks here today that have had their shoulder to the wheel of building Alaska, former Commissioner Susan Bell, thank you so much. Mayor Sanford, you begin to point people out, and as usual you get in trouble. One person I want to point out is Jim Ayers. You see the fast ferry behind us. I give him total responsibility for that.
On the days that it runs.
On the days that it runs, absolutely. But thank you, Jim, for your service. And every day that I have, whenever I have the opportunity, and I went aboard just the other day, the ferry Kennecott, Jim was very involved in bringing us that incredible piece of transportation equipment. So I just want to join the governor in saying that this MOU, the work that will be done, isn't about a study. It's about those impacted by the system, those who care about the system, those who are served by the system, those whose life revolves around the system, which includes all Alaskans for sure, but especially those who live and work it every day, that have their voice, their leadership, their intellectual capacity focused on building the best marine highway system that we possibly can create for our citizens is something that both the governor and I are very excited about, and thank you all for being here.
I also wanted to thank Commissioner Lucan, Captain Nussel. Thank you very much for your role and in this process that we're about to endeavor into. And Southeast Conference, I want to thank you very much for what you've done to make this happen as well. There are those that sort of have questioned in the past the benefit of having organizations like the Southeast Conference. The Southeast Conference has a whole lot to do with the Alaska Marine Highway System, because that actually started it. So it's that relationship between local governments, local communities in the state that's kind of been missing a little bit. So those that want to sort of get away with ardor, do away with those, I say no. And you're the shining example of how much good can come out of that kind of relationship, that kind of organization. So I enjoyed saying a few words this year. Your conference here in Juneau, that was fun to do. See a lot of folks I've seen before, and it has been a while. But thank you very much for that. You want to say a few words?
Sure. Thank you, Governor. I want to thank both the Governor and Lieutenant Governor for this opportunity. Southeast Conference was formed in 1958, and we were instrumental in than creating the original ferry system. And so we're really looking forward to work with our statewide partners to collaborate and move forward in this new direction to find sustainable solutions and reliable ferry systems for all of our state communities. Transportation is a vital link in the overall Alaskan economy. And this, as the governor pointed out, this is our road system. This is how we bring products and goods to market. And so we look really forward to working with everybody here and moving forward in this process. So thank you.
I want to introduce Shannon Adamson, who is here representing the people who do the hard work every day on these boats. They're part of this too.
Thank you. So I didn't realize I was going to be speaking. I'll try and keep it short. I want to thank the Governor and Lieutenant Governor for giving us the opportunity to do this, and for being interested in trying to make the ferry system for more sustainable in the long term and in the future. For everybody that uses it, and that includes the people that are tourists and the people that are locals, and the people that use it for freight, but most especially from my perspective, the people that live and work on those ships for half of their lives. They spend a majority of their time on board these boats, and it is their second home. And I think they would really appreciate what you guys are trying to do, to make it more sustainable and more long-term for them and their families. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Very good.
Thank you, sir.